If you've been quietly telling yourself, I'm done, I need you to hear this before you make any big decisions, because what you're about to hear might completely change how you've seen the last 6 months of your life. We've all felt it. That moment where you're still showing up, still doing the job, still smiling in the meeting, still saying I'm fine, but something inside of you has already quit. Here's what most people get wrong. They think that that's weakness. They think it's laziness or failure or giving up too easily on something everyone else seems to be handling fine. It's not. It's your nervous system refusing to keep playing along. Your body isn't malfunctioning. It's not broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do, which is to protect you the only way it knows how, which is to shut the whole operation down. I was stuck on autopilot for years, doing everything right on paper, showing up, providing, checking every box I was told to check, and still feeling completely disconnected from my own life. I'd go through entire days not remembering a single moment from it, not because nothing happened, because I was never really there in the first place. And that was when I realized the exhaustion wasn't my circumstances. It was in my body's response to the circumstances. It was never designed to survive at that pace. I've sat in silence and asked, what's the point? Just quietly on nights when everyone else was asleep, wondering if this was just the way life was supposed to feel. And I want to be honest with you. I didn't have a breakthrough moment where it all made sense. I had a breakdown moment. My body made the decision my mind wasn't ready to make. Here's the part that so many people miss. Your nervous system has two settings that matter the most here. It can sense safety or it can sense a threat. It cannot tell the difference between a tiger chasing you or a deadline chasing you, a conversation you're dreading and an actual emergency. To your body, stress is stress. So if you've lived for years, not days, in a state of low-grade constant threat response, your system doesn't ask your permission before it shuts things down. It just does it. That's not your failing. That's your body doing its job when you couldn't. If you've read any comment section under any video where they're talking about walking away from it all, thousands of people are saying the exact same thing at the exact same time. That's not a coincidence. That's not just you. That's a whole generation whose nervous system is telling the truth before their mind has had a chance to catch up. And that's exactly where we need to go next. You're not imagining it. Look around. People quitting jobs that they've trained 15 years for. People selling their homes they've worked their entire lives to afford. People walking away from things they were told since childhood to want. That's not a trend you're witnessing. That's a whole generation's nervous system reaching its limit. At the same time, out loud, in the public, in a comment section. Here's what a lot of people are missing at this moment. They think it's political. They think it's an economic problem. They think something is just broken. And I want to be real with this one. I'm not going to stand here and pretend none of it matters. The pressures are real. The cost of living is real. The exhaustion of watching institutions fail you is real. But fighting fear with more fear only feeds it. Outrage doesn't build light. And staying stuck in the diagnosis, endlessly naming what's wrong out loud, keeps your nervous system in the exact same state that got you there in the first place. There are two sides to this ledger. It's fear and it's love. And most of what's driving this collective exhaustion is a whole society trying to argue its way out of a state of fear instead of regulating its nervous system out of it. I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to take it seriously. Take your time in answering it. But has your life gotten any better by hating your neighbor more? By focusing in on the problems that are happening in the world, the war that's happening, the gas prices, the inflation, the things that are completely out of your control. I know what the answer is, and I think you know what the answer is too. We spend so much time focusing out on the external circumstances that we have no control over. But what we do have control over is being left on its own. We have to go back in here. And when we change what's in here and regulate our nervous system, we are no longer being controlled by the whims of what's happening externally. We start to create with intention. And that's the whole point of this moment. I know it's difficult to handle. I know we're seeing a lot, but there's also really good things that can happen in this moment. If you realize what's happening, if you can see through the darkness, because you are the light. You are here to share your light. I was raised to believe the harder you work, the more peace you'll find on the other side of it. Grind now, live later. I'm sure you've heard that one many times. Sacrifice the years you'll never get back for a version of security that keeps moving further away the closer you get to it. Once I decided to get out of the program and start living consciously instead of consciously, I realized the dream itself wasn't built for a human nervous system. It was built for output. It was built to measure you by what you produce and not whether you were actually at peace while producing it. The darker things feel out there, the more necessary our calm becomes in here. So if the system feels like it's failing you, you're not wrong for feeling that. But here's the question that actually matters. And I want you to really sit with this one. If you disappeared tomorrow, new house, new state, new country, a completely different life, would you actually be at peace? Or would you be exhausted somewhere new? I've watched thousands of people answer that question with a plan instead of an answer. Sell the house, buy the RV, move to the mountains, get on a plane to Mexico with the kids and never look back. And I want to be clear, I'm not mocking that. Some of those decisions are genuinely right for the people making them. Changing your environment can absolutely be a part of healing. But here's what most people get wrong. They think the exhaustion lives in the zip code, in the job, in the four walls of the house they're sitting in right now. So they change everything on the outside and they bring that exact same unregulated nervous system with them into a new life, to a new scenery, but it's the same static. Once I decided to get out of the program, the thing that actually changed wasn't my address. It was my baseline. It was learning to regulate the state I was living in moment to moment before I ever touched a moving truck. Because a nervous system that's stuck in survival mode will find a way to feel unsafe anywhere you put it. A mountain, a beach, a brand new house with no mortgage, and a nervous system that's actually regulated can find peace in any circumstance. That's the real move. Not outrunning the system, outgrowing the state that made you need to run from it in the first place. So if you're sitting in a place right now, done, exhausted, one more bad week away from selling everything, I'm not going to tell you that feeling is wrong. It's not. But before you make that big decision, make the small one first. Learn what it feels like for your body to actually feel safe again. Not numb, not checked out, safe. Because from that place, every decision you make, whether it's to stay or to leave, will be a decision made from clarity instead of chaos and crisis. We don't panic our way into a better world. We embody it. If this spoke to something you've been carrying, I want you to do one thing before you scroll away. Tell me in the comment section where you're at on the ledger right now. Fear or love, running or regulating. And if you want the next step, the actual practices I've used to shift my own baseline, I've put it in the description. Arise and walk.